Welcome to Cinematic Odyssey channel. Today we're diving into 15 iconic movie scenes that actors regret filming. From uncomfortable moments to performances they wish they could erase, these stars have unforgettable stories to share. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of the drama. Let's get started. 15. Ben Stiller regrets his nude scene in Along Came Polly. Along Came Polly, directed by John Hamburg, is a quirky romantic comedy that pairs Ben Stiller's lovable awkwardness with Jennifer Aniston's free-spirited charm. The story follows Ruben Pfeffer, an uptight insurance analyst whose world is turned upside down when his wife Lisa cheats on him during their honeymoon. Reeling from the betrayal, Ruben reconnects with Polly Prince, a fun and adventurous former classmate who pushes him way out of his comfort zone. Just when things start heating up with Polly, Lisa shows up hoping to win him back, throwing his life into chaos. One of the funniest behind-the-scenes stories from the movie involves Ben Stiller filming a nude scene from behind. In an interview, Stiller revealed that John Hamburg promised to cut the scene if it didn't get a laugh. But here's the kicker. Stiller admitted he never stuck around to see if it actually worked, saying, "I've never stayed long enough to see it." To top it off, he later found out he could have used a body double for the scene, but nobody told him that until it was all over. That little mishap perfectly mirrors the film's awkward yet hilarious charm. 14. Sharon Stone regrets the interrogation scene in Basic Instinct. Basic Instinct is one of those movies that everyone remembers, largely because of its edgy plot and that one scene that's burned into pop culture. Directed by Paul Verhoeven, it stars Michael Douglas as a detective investigating the murder of a famous rock star. Along the way, he gets tangled up in a complicated and intense relationship with Catherine Trammell, played by Sharon Stone, who is both the prime suspect and a major femme fatale. But the film's notoriety isn't just about the twists and turns of the plot. It's all about one scene that still stirs controversy. This infamous scene involved Sharon Stone's character, Catherine, crossing her legs in a police interrogation room. It was meant to be a powerful, provocative moment, but what Stone didn't know at the time was that she was being tricked into revealing much more than intended. In her memoir, she explained that director Paul Verhoeven had told her to remove her underwear, claiming that the white fabric was reflecting too much light. He reassured her that it would be fine because the shadow would cover everything. But when she saw the final cut, it was clear that wasn't the case. Her private areas were fully exposed on screen. Stone was blindsided by this and felt completely betrayed. When she first saw the scene, she slapped Verhoeven and immediately reached out to her lawyer. She later shared that this was one of the hardest moments of her career, as she had trusted the director and was misled. Despite the scene going down as one of the most talked about moments in movie history, for Stone, it wasn't about fame. It was about feeling taken advantage of and having her boundaries crossed. Looking back, Stone has used her experience to speak out about the importance of trust and transparency in the film industry. Her ordeal reminds us how vital it is to create a respectful working environment, where actors aren't coerced into uncomfortable situations for the sake of a shocking scene. Basic Instinct may have catapulted Stone into Hollywood fame, but it also left her with a painful lesson about navigating power dynamics in a high-stakes industry. 13. Kate Winslet regrets the illustration scene in Titanic. James Cameron's Titanic is filled with iconic moments, and one of the most memorable is when Rose, played by Kate Winslet, asks Jack, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, to draw her like one of his French girls while wearing nothing but the heart of the ocean necklace. This scene has become a staple in pop culture, often parodied or referenced in various media. However, for Kate Winslet, it's a moment she has come to regret, not because of the filming process itself, but because of the unintended consequences it brought. While filming the scene was professionally challenging, Winslet has explained that it wasn't particularly difficult. The scene was intimate, but she felt comfortable with the process, and the focus was on creating a beautiful moment between the two characters. However, in the years following the film's release, Winslet found herself confronted by an uncomfortable situation. Fans approaching her to sign pictures of herself naked from that scene. In an interview with Yahoo, Winslet revealed that she now refuses to sign such photos, stating that it feels very uncomfortable to do so. She shared how invasive and disconcerting it felt to be repeatedly asked to immortalize an image from a scene that was meant to be intimate and personal, not a moment for public consumption in such a manner. For Winslet, the regret stems not from the role itself, but from the way the scene has been used to objectify her over the years, reminding her that what might have felt like a professional acting moment was later turned into a source of exploitation in the eyes of some fans. Despite the discomfort, Winslet also expressed pride in the film's overall legacy, but her experience highlights the complexity of being an actress in a high-profile role, especially when it comes to scenes that inadvertently become culturally iconic and take on a life of their own. 12. Taylor Lautner regrets taking his shirt off in Twilight. Twilight really launched Taylor Lautner into the spotlight, turning him into a teen heartthrob almost overnight with his role as Jacob Black. One of the biggest things people remember about Jacob is the fact that Lautner was constantly taking his shirt off. For New Moon, Lautner went through an intense physical transformation to match the role of a werewolf, and fans couldn't help but take notice of his chiseled physique. But while his looks were getting all the attention, Lautner started to feel a little uneasy about it. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly back in 2009, Lautner opened up about his experience. He admitted that, looking back, he'd rather not have taken his shirt off at all in the movies. He explained that the focus on his body overshadowed his acting, and that wasn't the kind of recognition he wanted. Lautner didn't want to be known as just a body. He wanted people to see him for his talent. It's clear now that Lautner was frustrated by the way his image became the main talking point of the films. He had worked hard to transform his body for the role, but the attention it brought him started to feel a bit limiting. It was a tough moment for him, but it also helped shape the kinds of roles he'd go after in the future. Ones where his acting skills, not just his physical appearance, would take center stage. 11. Margot Robbie regrets the pile of cash scene in The Wolf of Wall Street. The Twilight saga turned Taylor Lautner into a global teen sensation, but looking back, he has some mixed feelings about one thing that made his portrayal of Jacob Black so iconic: those shirtless scenes. For New Moon, Lautner underwent an intense physical transformation, hitting the gym hard to bulk up for Jacob's evolution into a werewolf. His commitment paid off, and fans couldn't stop talking about his new look. However, while his physique grabbed all the headlines, Lautner started to feel like his acting was being overshadowed. In a 2009 interview with Entertainment Weekly, Lautner opened up about it. He shared that if he had the choice, he would avoid taking his shirt off in future roles. He explained that he didn't want to be remembered as just a body. It's a relatable sentiment, as Lautner wanted people to see him as more than just the six-pack that made Jacob a fan favorite. While Twilight skyrocketed his career, it also highlighted the tricky balance between fame and being taken seriously as an actor. 10. Hugh Jackman regrets his date scene in movie 43. Movie 43 is widely considered one of the most controversial and poorly received films in Hollywood history. Its disjointed and crude humor left a lasting stain on the careers of many involved, especially considering the film's outrageous content. One actor who openly expressed regret about his involvement was Hugh Jackman. Jackman starred in the segment titled The Catch, where he played a wealthy bachelor named Davis, who goes on a blind date with businesswoman Beth, played by Kate Winslet. The catch, however, was far from a typical romantic complication. Davis had a pair of testicles hanging from his neck, which, of course, was meant to be shocking and absurd. In an interview with Yahoo, Jackman humorously reflected on his decision to take the role, offering some sage advice to his past self. Don't believe those who offer you a role where you will have testicles around your neck as part of a hilarious ensemble of some of the funniest movies of all time. The segment has since become infamous for its outlandish and cringe-worthy premise, with many viewing it as an ill-advised decision in Jackman's otherwise successful career. Jackman, known for his range and versatile performances in films like Les Misérables and the X-Men series, clearly regrets the part and openly acknowledges that it was a low point in his filmography. Despite movie 43 being a star-studded affair, with appearances from actors like Halle Berry, Richard Gere, and Kate Winslet, it remains a cautionary tale for actors about choosing roles based on absurd humor and questionable premises. Jackman's reflection on the experience adds a dose of humor and humility, and perhaps serves as a reminder that sometimes, certain roles, no matter how outrageous, should be avoided. Kurt Russell regrets destroying a guitar in The Hateful Eight. In Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, there's a particularly intense moment when Daisy Domergue, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, is sitting and playing her guitar. As tensions escalate, John the Hangman Ruth, played by Kurt Russell, forcefully takes the guitar from her hands and violently smashes it to pieces. The scene, meant to heighten the drama and tension between the characters, is memorable for its raw emotion. However, what makes this moment even more dramatic is the fact that the guitar wasn't just a regular prop, it was a genuine, rare 1870s Martin guitar, loaned to the film by the Martin Guitar Museum. The production had intended to use a prop guitar for the scene, but somewhere along the way, the real guitar made its way into the shoot. Russell wasn't told that the guitar was authentic and vintage, and as a result, he unknowingly destroyed an irreplaceable piece of musical history. When Jennifer Jason Leigh spoke about the incident in a 2016 interview with Billboard, she recalled how deeply it affected Kurt Russell. Upon discovering that the guitar was real, Russell felt an overwhelming sense of regret. Leigh described how his reaction was genuine, explaining that his eyes literally welled up with emotion after learning the truth. The incident became such a big deal that, as a result of the mistake, the Martin Guitar Museum decided to stop lending instruments for film productions altogether. It's a story that serves as a reminder of the sometimes unpredictable nature of filmmaking and the unexpected consequences that can arise from even the smallest details. What was intended as a dramatic moment for the film ended up being a real-life lesson in respect for valuable artifacts. The emotional weight of the incident left an impression on everyone involved, making it one of those behind-the-scenes stories that adds an extra layer of depth to the making of the film. 8. Amanda Seyfried regrets singing Liv in Les Misérables. Amanda Seyfried's vocal talents were put to the test once again when she played Cosette in Tom Hooper's 2012 film Les Misérables. While Mamma Mia had allowed her to showcase her singing skills, it was a much lighter, more pre-recorded experience. In contrast, Les Misérables featured a bold approach. All the actors sang live on set, with orchestral music added later. This decision was meant to capture a more raw and authentic feeling, as though the audience were watching a real performance unfold. However, for Seyfried, this method was far from easy. In an interview with Vanity Fair, she revealed that she didn't feel fully prepared for the challenge. She had quit singing for many years before landing the role of Cosette, and her experience on Mamma Mia didn't quite prepare her for the physical demands of live singing on a film set. Seyfried explained that singing live required not just vocal ability, but significant strength and stamina. Unfortunately, she didn't feel she had that endurance at the time. Reflecting on the experience, she confessed that she wished she could have re-recorded her vocals in a studio to achieve the polished sound she envisioned. Seyfried's honesty about her experience offers a glimpse into the pressure actors face when tackling a role that demands both vocal prowess and physical endurance, reminding us that even the most talented performers have moments of vulnerability. 7. Burt Reynolds regretted a dangerous stunt in Deliverance. Deliverance, directed by John Boorman, is a thrilling film that became infamous for its intense and disturbing scenes, but it's one particular stunt that Burt Reynolds regrets most. While the movie is remembered for its shocking content, Reynolds' biggest regret came from a stunt he insisted on performing himself, which led to a serious injury. In one of the film's most memorable moments, Reynolds' character, Lewis, must navigate his canoe over a dangerous waterfall. Initially, Boorman suggested using a dummy for the stunt, but Reynolds was determined to make the scene as realistic as possible. He wanted to perform it himself. However, when Reynolds went over the waterfall, he landed on jagged rocks below and broke his tailbone. What made this situation even worse was Boorman's reaction afterward. As shared by comedian Norm Macdonald during a 2016 appearance on The Howard Stern Show, the director told Reynolds while he was recovering in the hospital that the stunt didn't even look convincing on film. Despite the injury, the sacrifice did not deliver the impact it was intended to. Reynolds later admitted he regretted pushing so hard to do the stunt himself. The pain and injury left him questioning whether it was worth it to sacrifice his body for something that ultimately didn't add much to the scene. It was a hard lesson about the limits of realism and the value of safety in filmmaking. 6. Elliot Page regrets Juno's anti-gay comment on baby names. Elliot Page's role as Juno McGuff in Jason Reitman's Juno was a defining moment in his career, capturing the hearts of audiences with his sharp wit and heartfelt performance. The film, which tackles the complexities of an unplanned teenage pregnancy, became an instant classic, with Page's portrayal of the quirky, independent Juno earning him widespread acclaim. However, one line in the film has since become a source of reflection for Page. In a scene where Juno discusses baby names with Mark, played by Jason Bateman, one of the names suggested is Madison. Juno responds with a remark, "Isn't that like a little gay?" At the time, the line was intended as a casual joke, part of Juno's brash sense of humor. But as Page later came to realize, the comment wasn't as harmless as it might have appeared. During a 2017 interview with Bustle, Page acknowledged that he hadn't fully registered the problematic nature of the line when he first filmed it. He admitted that, at the time, he didn't understand the impact the words could have, especially in a world where queer identities are often dismissed or stereotyped. In hindsight, Page expressed regret over the joke, recognizing that it perpetuated harmful assumptions about sexuality and language. Years later, when Page was involved in a table read of Juno's script for a Planned Parenthood event, he chose not to read the line. He refused to repeat the joke, understanding how it might perpetuate negativity or discomfort. This decision marked an important moment in Page's evolution, both personally and professionally. As Page later came out as transgender, the reflection on this moment took on even greater significance. His decision to distance himself from the joke was an early sign of his growth in advocating for more thoughtful, inclusive, and respectful storytelling. By confronting a moment in his past, Page highlighted his commitment to evolving in a way that aligns with his values, promoting a culture where language and representation are used with greater awareness and care. His journey continues to inspire others to reassess the impact of words in media, creating a more inclusive space for everyone. 5. Julia Roberts regrets her role in Flatliners. Julia Roberts' career has been filled with iconic roles, but one performance she has openly regretted was in Flatliners, the 1990 psychological sci-fi thriller directed by Joel Schumacher. In the film, Roberts played Dr. Rachel Manis, a medical student who participates in an experimental procedure to stop her heart and then be resuscitated in order to explore what happens after death. In a 2017 interview, Roberts reflected on her decision to take the role, admitting that she wasn't proud of it. While Flatliners was a commercial success at the time, Roberts felt that the movie didn't quite measure up to the standards she had set for herself. She found the story and her character to be lacking depth, and despite the film's visual style and eerie concept, she later realized that it wasn't the kind of work she wanted to be known for. Roberts' dissatisfaction with Flatliners wasn't a reflection of the cast or the director, but rather a result of how the film ultimately turned out. She has since stated that she learned from the experience and became much more selective about the projects she chose in the years following, focusing more on roles that challenged her creatively and offered more meaningful substance. 4. Jim Carrey regrets his role in The Number. 23. Jim Carrey's role in The Number 23, 2007, is one he has since expressed regret over, despite the film being a departure from his usual comedic roles. In this psychological thriller, Carrey played Walter Sparrow, a man obsessed with a book that seems to mirror his own life, leading him to spiral into paranoia and madness. At the time, Carrey was looking for something different, wanting to prove his versatility as an actor beyond his well-known comedic persona. However, after the film's release, Carrey revealed that he felt the movie didn't work as intended. He admitted that, while he thought the script had potential, the film's execution wasn't as satisfying as he had hoped. In interviews, Carrey has been candid about his experience making the number 23, sharing that he wasn't entirely happy with how the project turned out. He found the role emotionally taxing, and the intense psychological drama was difficult for him to connect with on a deeper level. Reflecting on it, Carrey realized that he might have been better suited for a different kind of role or project during that period in his career. Although the number 23 has its fans, Carrey himself has expressed that he would have liked to have chosen a different path at that point in his career, and the experience served as a reminder to be more cautious about the kinds of roles he pursued in the future. 3. Dwayne, The Rock Johnson, regrets his role in The Scorpion King. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has built an incredibly successful career, transitioning from a WWE wrestling icon to a leading man in Hollywood. However, one of his early film roles in The Scorpion King, 2002, is one that he has admitted to regretting, or at least not feeling proud of. In The Scorpion King, Johnson played the titular character, a warrior turned king in ancient Egypt who must fight his way to power. The film was a prequel to The Mummy Returns, 2001, and it marked Johnson's first leading role in a major film. Although the movie was a commercial success, grossing over $165 million worldwide, it wasn't exactly a critical hit. The CGI effects were widely criticized, and some of the dialogue and performances were seen as over the top. In interviews, Johnson has opened up about how the film's final product didn't quite live up to his expectations. He has pointed out that his performance, especially early in his acting career, was more about his larger-than-life persona than actual acting depth. He even joked about how his acting chops at the time weren't fully developed. Johnson's performance was sometimes considered stiff, and the special effects were often seen as unconvincing, particularly for a film that had a large budget for action scenes and visual effects. Looking back, The Rock has mentioned that while the role helped him transition to movies and gain recognition, it also became a reminder of the growing pains that come with building a career in Hollywood. He learned a lot from the experience and used it as motivation to work harder on refining his craft in subsequent films. The success of The Scorpion King certainly helped propel his career forward, but Johnson has said that if given the chance to revisit that period, he would approach his role with much more experience and a better understanding of acting. 2. Kristen Stewart, regrets her role in Snow White and the Huntsman. Kristen Stewart has had a career filled with notable roles, but one of the films she has expressed regret over is Snow White and the Huntsman, 2012. While the movie was a commercial success and brought in over $150 million worldwide, Stewart has been open about her mixed feelings regarding her involvement in the film. In Snow White and the Huntsman, Stewart played the iconic character of Snow White, who must escape the clutches of the evil queen, Ravenna, Charlize Theron, and ultimately defeat her in order to restore peace to the kingdom. The film was marketed as a darker, grittier take on the classic fairy tale, with Stewart's Snow White taking center stage as a warrior princess. While Stewart appreciated the film's ambition and her role, she admitted that there were elements of the experience that left her feeling uncomfortable, particularly with her performance. In several interviews, she revealed that she felt a certain disconnect between herself and the character she portrayed. Stewart has mentioned that the character of Snow White didn't resonate with her in the way that her other roles had. The film required her to play a more stoic, serious character, and Stewart has admitted that she felt limited in her performance, especially given her preference for more nuanced, introspective roles. Additionally, Snow White and the Huntsman was marred by off-screen drama involving Stewart's personal life. In 2012, during filming, Stewart became involved in a highly publicized scandal when it was revealed that she had an affair with the film's director, Rupert Sanders, who was married at the time. This affair led to significant media backlash, which not only affected Stewart personally, but also overshadowed the film's release. Stewart has since discussed how this scandal impacted her ability to enjoy the process of making the movie, as the fallout from the affair became a constant source of stress and scrutiny during its promotion. Despite the box office success, Stewart has reflected on Snow White and the Huntsman as a learning experience. She realized that it wasn't a role that played to her strengths. and the surrounding drama likely made her wish she had been more selective in choosing her projects at the time. However, Stewart's career has flourished since then, with her taking on more varied roles that align better with her interests and strengths, allowing her to showcase her true range as an actress. 1. Robert Pattinson regrets his role in Twilight. Robert Pattinson's role as Edward Cullen in the Twilight saga skyrocketed him to fame, but over the years, he's been pretty open about his complicated feelings towards it. While Twilight definitely launched his career and made him a household name, Pattinson has admitted that the intense fame and the constant association with his vampire character sometimes left him feeling trapped. When he first landed the role, Pattinson wasn't exactly a household name, and he even took the part because he needed the money and wasn't sure where his career was headed. However, when Twilight became a massive global phenomenon, he quickly found himself surrounded by a whirlwind of fame that felt overwhelming at times. He said in interviews that being recognized as Edward Cullen all the time was frustrating, and he felt like it overshadowed his actual talent. He was constantly asked about Twilight, and it was hard to get people to see him for more than just his vampire persona. In a 2012 interview, Pattinson shared that he was initially drawn to the role because he didn't have many options at the time, but once Twilight hit big, he felt stuck in this box. He even joked about how he never expected the massive fame that came with it, and how he couldn't seem to escape the character. But over time, Pattinson has learned to appreciate what Twilight gave him. Despite his frustrations, he recognizes that it opened doors for him and allowed him to pursue a wider range of roles. Since Twilight, Pattinson has made a point of choosing roles that push him as an actor. From intense independent films like Cosmopolis and Good Time to his more recent work in The Lighthouse and Tenet, Pattinson has clearly moved beyond Edward Cullen. He's taken on roles that have challenged him and helped him grow as an artist, showing the world that he's much more than the vampire heartthrob from Twilight. Even though he has moments of regret about the role, it's clear that Pattinson has found his footing in an acting career that's about much more than just being Edward. Which scene surprised you the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Resourceful mother in A Christmas Story. From expertly layering up Randy for the cold to managing the chaos of the major award lamp, Dylan's nuanced portrayal added authenticity and charm to a film that has become a beloved holiday tradition. But what became of the actress who made Mrs. Parker so unforgettable? After her iconic turn in the Parker household, Dylan continued to captivate audiences with her incredible range. She brought humor and tenderness to the family favorite Harry and the Hendersons, 1987, and showcased her dramatic depth in the critically acclaimed Magnolia, 1999. Dylan also left her mark on television, delivering poignant performances in guest roles on hit series such as The Heartland and The Law & Order: Special Victims Unit. Her ability to channel genuine emotion into every character made her a standout presence in both film and TV. Now retired, Dylan has embraced a quieter, more private life away from the spotlight. Fans can't help but wonder, does she cherish her time as Mrs. Parker as much as the countless viewers who adore her work? Though she's stepped away from the cameras, Melinda Dillon's legacy as a talented, heartfelt performer remains timeless, continuing to touch the hearts of audiences across generations.
Know where he heard it?
Probably from his father.
No, he heard it from your son.
What? What?
Darren McGavin.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Darren McGavin brought a perfect blend of humor, heart, and gruff charm to his role as Old Man Parker, the fiercely devoted and often exasperated father in A Christmas Story. From his triumphant obsession with the infamous Major Award to his comical skirmishes with the household furnace, McGavin infused the character with a larger-than-life energy that made him one of the film's most beloved and enduring figures. But what became of the actor who brought such unforgettable vibrancy to the Parker household? By the time McGavin joined out The Christmas Story, he was already a seasoned veteran of stage and screen, and his career continued to flourish afterward. He was perhaps best known for his role as the tenacious journalist in Kolchak, The Night Stalker, a cult classic TV series that laid the groundwork for supernatural hits like The X-Files. McGavin also brought his signature charisma to the big screen, delivering memorable performances in films like The Billy Madison, 1995, where he played Adam Sandler's hilariously overbearing father. His ability to seamlessly shift between comedy, drama, and even horror made him a versatile and cherished Hollywood figure. Darren McGavin's remarkable career lasted over 6 decades, leaving behind a treasure trove of performances that still resonate with audiences today. His colleagues and fans remember him not only for his immense talent, but also for his genuine kindness. Whether portraying the lovable Old Man Parker, the investigative Kolchak, or a host of other memorable characters, McGavin's work remains a shining example of his lasting influence on the entertainment world. Ian Petrella. Ian Petrella brought an unforgettable mix of humor and charm to the role of Randy, Ralphie's lovable and delightfully exasperating little brother in A Christmas Story. From his comical struggles in layers of winter clothing to his iconic cry of, "I can't put my arms down," Petrella's performance turned Randy into a cherished part of this holiday classic. But what happened to the actor who made audiences laugh and relate so effortlessly? After his memorable role as Randy, Petrella continued acting for a time, appearing in popular TV shows like Different Strokes and The Highway to Heaven. However, as he grew older, he chose to step away from the spotlight, discovering a passion for the creative arts behind the scenes. Petrella found his niche in puppetry and animation, where his artistic talents allowed him to tell stories in entirely new ways. Though he left acting, Petrella has stayed connected to the film that defined his childhood. He regularly attends fan events and A Christmas Story reunions, delighting audiences with behind-the-scenes stories. And which story blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.